Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 9 Pan-Asian Destroyer, Chung. We're on the map Sleeping Giant. The build is pretty straightforward. Main armament protection, propulsion protection, improved gun accuracy, improved acceleration, concealment, faster torpedo rearm. For my commander, priority target, preventative maintenance, adrenaline rush, last stand, survivability expert, basic firing training, superintendent, and concealment. This is on 7.2. You might notice that there are a couple things different about the scene. The water effect, the foaming, looks great. There's another value underneath my crosshair location that is basically just notifying you in real time your concealment. So when you fire, that's going to bloom up to your max gun range. If you're in smoke or something like that, it's a real-time information so you can look forward. You don't have to check the minimap as often. Obviously, you should check the minimap. And speaking of the minimap, it's a little bigger, isn't it? It can get a lot bigger. They added in a couple 4K scales, which is ridiculous on 1440p. It basically covers half the screen if I scale it up that big, but that's great for anyone who plays at 4K. I wish that the entire UI was scalable, but I'll take this for now. So we're capturing A point, and an enemy Gajimata is near B point. At this point, I didn't really recognize that I was scouted by aircraft. So, yeah, we're being spotted and a lot of people are firing at us. So I eventually use my smoke. And I don't know what happened, but the enemy basically missed every single shot. Really fortunate, right? And we're able to capture the base, which was my primary goal. That's why I didn't fire. I didn't want to draw any more attention to myself, although probably should have. This enemy cruiser is coming in, and he's coming in hot. So my objective is to kill this person. I do not want to miss this torpedo. If I miss this torpedo, I'm dead. So I'm going to wait until the very last second to send my torpedoes at this guy. And I expect him to do the same. Now, we do pull a Notser. I didn't expect the momentum of the ship to carry me into that island. But we're able to slip right by and, of course, point blank. Now, he has torpedoes, but he can't use his torpedoes when he's nosing on. And I've got it both sides, so I'm like, oh, crap. I really have to hit every torpedo. Thankfully, we hit every single one on the first go-around, and the smoke is blocking the enemy Gajimata. Gajimata has Pan-Asian torpedoes, deep-water torpedoes. He cannot torpedo me, so there's no urgency to move from this location. And we're just going to wail on this guy. Eventually, he outsails the smoke that is blocking line of sight, but it doesn't really matter. He's dead. And just like that, 2 enemy ships are dead. And, of course, hydroacoustic. I'm going, oh, crap. That means, yes, the German destroyer is right there. And there's no reason to pop this smoke. I will die if I try and rely on smoke. I have to rely on that island just to my top left on the screen. I've got to get behind it as quick as possible. And you might be going, why are you staying broadside? I'm a very thin ship. He's overpinning his AP. He should be firing HE. You really only want to use AP against a fatter target. And I just don't really think that Chung is a fat target. Maybe another German destroyer, maybe a chunkier gearing. But yeah, this is incredibly thin, just like the Fletcher, because of the single launch gun and the single launch torpedoes. It's going to be really hard for that AP to stick in. So he actually did way less damage than he probably could if he would have just used HE. I know people want to be greedy, and I know AP does a ton of damage, but when it overpins, you're not taking out any modules. You're doing less damage than the HE probably would have been doing. And I also noticed that he sent torpedoes, so I was like, everyone rush this guy. So I used my momentum to go on the north side of the island. Friendly Dmitry Donskoy goes on the south side, and of course he picks the south because he could see me. I don't think he intends to fire on the Dmitry, maybe torpedoes, but he wants to kill me. It's pretty obvious he wants to kill me, and I want to kill him. So I'm just going to fire my HE. I'm going to aim at basically the fattest part of a ship. And we're doing okay damage. I have a slight angle, so any small amount of AP damage he might do, he's not going to do any. And we officially take out the target. So 3 enemies enter the combat arena, the brawl fest that is Sleeping Giant at A point. 3 go down. We do unfortunately lose the Dmitry Donskoy. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know how he died to a flood. I can't speak for his playstyle. I would have expected him to have access with damage control, but clearly he didn't. But we do capture A point, and 99% of my team is over by C point. So this was an overextension. The reason I went, I spawned all the way on the west side. I did a quick check before I entered at A point. I was saying, you know, I would have run into the target at that point. I'm going to commit. I do have smoke, of course, and all that stuff. When I saw the aircraft fly over the northern island chain that is the ring, I was like, okay, there is either a cruiser or a battleship that wants to round. And I was going to push towards B point, but then obviously the 2 DDs entered. So I had to take out the cruiser. I had to take out the Gajimata. I had to take out the German destroyer. If one of those would have survived, I would be dead. 100%. But we were able to just barely survive. And obviously I'm moving towards B point. Last known position of the Roma and the Bismarck. I wanted to go all the way to the south side of that opening just to give me every advantage. Enemy Baltimore is camping in that sort of crevice between B point and C point. Not an ideal location for him. I would say it is going to be in his best interest to probably stay a little bit further back behind one of the islands, but I'm aggressive too. So he was probably just getting aggressive, and he probably figured this was his last location he could. He wanted to maybe exit out into B point and back up, but my team closed that window for him, and now he's in a really tough spot. I was trying to make sure I wasn't too close, though, for radar, because he's gonna die. But he could have detected me and killed me. So we're just capping for now. We have no idea where the Roma is. Last known position is obviously at B point. Clearly he's not here. Enemy Bismarck was, at least at first, going to go around A point. So I am going to infer that the Roma was ahead of the Bismarck and is doing just that. He's going to rotate around the island that's north of A and come back towards A point to capture it. As all this is going on, friendly Bismarck is going up against Baltimore. I use my smoke just to fire on him to harass him down a little bit. I'm not going to try and send my torpedoes. I'm not going to do any of that. He's so thin, if he backed up, probably wouldn't have hit him. That's the annoying thing about it. Instead, I'm going to keep my torpedoes for a more advantageous target. And I don't know why these guys are having a tough time with this. From the Algerie takes a ton of AP broadside. He's probably going to take it again as the Baltimore is trying to avoid the friendly torpedoes. Looks like one. Oh, he's able to dodge it. I think he is. Did he? Yeah, he dodged the torpedoes because it was 3 torpedoes. Someone just massively AP shocked him. And probably the Bismarck because he had point blank. Friendly Algerie dies. Baltimore's dead. We've got the enemy Bismarck coming back. And he's going to have to decide, is he going to rotate back, you know, go around the island that's just to his starboard side, or is he going to run up against that port side island chain? He doesn't have a lot that he can do. And look at the foam effects off of the torpedoes. Way boosted, way more visible. It looks great. I don't know if torpedoes, especially deep water torpedoes, would look that foamy, but it looks good for the game. So I lead him in the direction, expecting him to try and commit to run against the island. It does look like he was thinking about it, but for whatever reason, he decides to pull off of that. The rightmost torpedoes, definitely not going to hit him, but we look like we're going to hit one on his nose, unprotected location. It should cause a flood, and it does. He's going to put out it with damage control, which he does, and as predicted, the Roma is probably the target capturing A point. It could be a Mogami, but the timing seems about right for A point to be captured by the Roma. I pop my smoke, and I fire again. This is Chung 101, you know, American Destroyer 101. Same exact strategy. The only difference is I have Pan-Asian Destroyer torpedoes, the deep water, whereas my Fletcher has universal torpedoes. This guy is definitely going to die, and I'm just trying to get a little bit more damage. Maybe set a second fire, but yeah, he's super dead. My torpedoes are back up, though, which is great. And I'm considering... So A point just captured. It takes about the full capture to sail through it. I am the only person over by B point, so I want to make sure that I at least outrange with my concealment the mouth of A point. So if this enemy Roma were to push forward, I would have a tell that he is doing just that. And of course, a friendly is able to spot him out because he is a battleship. He's not a destroyer. And it looks like he's going to try and round the island. Well, I have a little bit of time left on my smoke, so I'm going to commit to sending my torpedoes and relying on the fact that they will get to the target before my smoke runs out. This is going to be very close. I mean, very close. Fortunately, he fires his guns, but as you can see, the smoke is about to dissipate right now, and we make direct contact, take him out. Couldn't have gone better. The game worked out brilliantly. Every tactical decision I made, you know, ended up working. I do think that I left myself open to the Baltimore's radar, and obviously we benefited from him not using radar for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe he already used it, you know, 5 seconds earlier. But it was pretty fun fighting in and around A point. I know it is incredibly dangerous. And if they would have come in 2 versus 1, I would have been dead, but they trickled in one by one, and that worked against them. So here we go. We have a brilliant game going 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1. Tons of torpedo damage, tons of gun damage, and coming out ahead. Got 3 kills. Confederate, devastating strike, first blood, 116,000 damage, and I am progressing through the French campaign. 2,200 base XP. Everything worked out. It was great. I'm enjoying 7.2, the French battleships. I hope you are as well. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.